So this time every year, around about February or March time, we get information and leaks on the next Call of Duty. We got our very first leaks about a month ago. There are always going to be rumours from random people, but there are a few very credible leakers within the community that have posted some really interesting stuff to do with COD 2021. A leaker called Okami retweeted a tweet from another leaker called Victor, where he said reputable leaker Victor seems to be teasing another World War II setting for COD 2021. And if we go over to Victor's tweet, we can see he's posted an image of Call of Duty World War II. This was a game that was released by Sledgehammer back in 2017, but from the leaks and rumours that we've had, it seems like Sledgehammer will be making this year's COD. I'll go into more detail about that in just a second, but Victor's tweeted an image of this. Now my first thought, either two things. One, we are getting another World War II game, or two, could this be a teaser for us getting a World War III game? Perhaps something that takes place after World War II. I don't know, maybe the Nazis win the war in this alternate timeline and we play in the late 1940s, early 50s. Or I thought he could be teasing World War III, we are getting a prequel to World War II. It could be, for example, like Modern Warfare 3, where World War III takes place in present day, meaning it's a modern shooter. Or he could simply be saying we are just getting another World War II game. And he's pretty much answered my question because someone replied saying World War III ? And Victor replied World War II. To me, that doesn't mean to say that some of the things I've just said can't happen. It could just be another World War II game that we've had hundreds of times before. Or what would be interesting to me is if this is a continuation of what happened after World War II, like I said, in an alternate timeline. I think that'd be interesting because World War II has been done so many times now. Sledgehammer have already made a World War II game, so I can't quite understand why they'd want to do another one. COD World War II wasn't the most successful Call of Duty in terms of numbers, player count. I thought it was an okay game, but I'd like to see Sledgehammer try something else, a different time period, modern day especially. And also, going back to the World War II time, especially now that a lot of shooters have gone back to the modern day, or at least that's what it seems. There was a time a few years back where Call of Duty Battlefield, they went back to that World War I, World War II setting, but it felt like we'd moved past that, we'd also moved past the futuristic setting, and we were going back to present day. I know Black Ops is set during the Cold War, but I wouldn't have expected another World War II, and according to credible leakers, that's what it's going to be. But there is more. Another Twitter user who goes by the name of Tom Henderson. I've actually just searched him up to see if he's tweeted anything new and his account's been deleted or suspended. I assume that has something to do with Activision and him leaking information, which does show that what he's putting out is true. But anyway, in this tweet he says, what I've heard so far about COD 2021. It's being created by Sledgehammer Games. It's going to be gritty and likely going to be controversial like Modern Warfare. It is boots on the ground, guerrilla-like warfare, and has Warzone integration. He then goes on to say, a title set during the Pacific Theatre would be cool I think, but the general consensus here is that we're all bored of boots on the ground. Newsflash, Treyarch will likely be the next developers in 2023 to release an advanced movement-based title depending on Warzone plans. So there are two big pieces of information here. The first part is to do with COD 2021 and the second part, it's just a guess I think, but he thinks that Treyarch will be the next developers in 2023 when they release their next game, and it will bring advanced movements back. That's for a totally different video. Personally, I wasn't a fan of advanced movements. I don't get the consensus that people are bored of boots on the ground, but maybe you guys are. Let me know in the comment section below. I can't see them going back to the jetpacks. But what he does say for this year's COD is it's developed by Sledgehammer Games, which we know. Treyarch have released this year's Call of Duty. It was a race between Sledgehammer or Infinity Ward. Sledgehammer's game is closer to being finished, so they're the ones releasing it this year. It's going to be gritty and likely controversial like Modern Warfare. I mean, they say that every year with every COD. Boots on the ground, which you would expect if it's taking place during World War II, and Warzone integration. That's an interesting one to think about because Warzone takes place during the modern day, or at least the map does, but then we had Black Ops Cold War integrated into it, so we had Cold War weapons and items, and we could now be getting World War II integrated into it, meaning we get World War II weapons in Warzone, items, kill streaks and stuff like that. There have been a lot of leaks that next month we are getting the new Warzone map, which is going to be for Cold War, so could it be when World War II releases, we get another new Warzone map, which is for World War II. There are a lot of things to think about, but continuing on, another tweet from Okami says it's true. Sledgehammer Games will be heading COD 2021 with the help of pretty much every Call of Duty studio in existence. This was a reply to another tweet from another user who was called Modern Warzone. He said the next Call of Duty title is 100% being developed by Sledgehammer Games, and Okami is just confirming that yes, that's true, but also Sledgehammer are getting the help of every other Call of Duty studio. I'm thinking then, are Treyarch, Infinity Ward and Raven helping Sledgehammer to release this year's COD. It isn't something I've heard of before. Usually it's one main developer and then someone like Raven assisting on the side, but we're being told that all of the studios are helping Sledgehammer to create this year's Call of Duty. I almost get the feeling that Activision don't trust Sledgehammer, because if you take your minds back to sometime around last year, we were told that halfway through the development cycle of Black Ops Cold War, Treyarch stepped in and Sledgehammer were pushed to the side because last year's COD was supposed to be released by Sledgehammer. They made half of that game, but for some reason, Activision took them off the project and put Treyarch in charge. And even without that information being leaked, just by playing the game, the feel of it, it has a lot of characteristics, the movement, the feel. Treyarch's games are usually more cartoony, whereas the original World War II was a lot more realistic. You can just tell by playing Black Ops Cold War that it probably was originally created by Sledgehammer. That's until Treyarch stepped in. Why did Activision push Sledgehammer to the side, and why are they now making all of the other studios help Sledgehammer create the game? It feels like they don't trust them. There's definitely something going on. The studio did have a big revamp towards the end of last year. They welcomed over 150 new employees into the studio, which is pretty much the whole studio itself. It was definitely a strange time. I thought before that, when they got removed from Black Ops Cold War, that may have been the end of that studio, but from the looks of it, they've been revitalized and they are starting afresh. So that's pretty much all of the information we have. There is another tweet that I wanted to go over. Again, this one's from Okami. It's to do with Warzone and the new map. He says, Warzone's new 1980s themed map will arrive in April after an explosive event blows up Verdansk. This will be the last season played on its current iteration. This I'm not surprised to hear because, as I just mentioned earlier, we've known for a long time that we're getting a new map in Warzone. We just didn't know when. I thought it would have been a lot sooner, actually, when Black Ops Cold War released months ago. But in April, for the start of the next season, that is when the new map for Warzone comes. Does that mean that Verdansk won't exist anymore and we're just going to have the one map? I think it would be cool if we had both, Verdansk and this Black Ops Cold War 1980s themed one. But then when World War II comes around, you would think we'd have a new map for that game. I don't know, it's very confusing. But going back to the main subject of this video, that's all of the information we have. In a way, I hope it's not correct because I don't really want another World War II game. I think we've seen it so many times now. Sledgehammer have already had their take on it. I would have liked to have seen Treyarch or Infinity Ward do a World War II game. We haven't seen their spin on it, at least not since the very beginning of Call of Duty. And we haven't seen Sledgehammer do a modern game. World War II had some pretty good features such as the headquarters. I enjoyed that. And we have to talk about the third mode. Every Call of Duty nowadays has a third mode, whether it be Spec Ops, Zombies, Extinction. The original World War II had zombies. Sledgehammer's other game, Advanced Warfare, also had zombies. So will the new World War II game for 2021 have zombies as well? Otherwise, there's really no point in people buying Call of Duty anymore. Warzone is free, so all you'd be paying for is the campaign and multiplayer. I feel that third mode has to be in there to entice people to buy it. And since Sledgehammer have done zombies twice before, and they've also done pretty good jobs, I think we could be getting zombies again this year. So anyway guys, there we go, that is it. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, goodbye.